Child of God by Cormac Mccarthy. A recluse who lives in the middle of the woods becomes increasingly isolated and estranged from the rest of humanity. This book is extremely dark as the main character goes from rape to murder to serial murder to necrophilia. It's a very dark path. So I'm usually the one that's defending darker books because usually the author is using the darkness to make a broader point, which can actually be quite good, quite uplifting even sometimes. Not that that's necessary in a book, but I am usually on the author's side. For instance, I really liked Cormac McCarthy's other book, The Road, which takes place in a dark world, but it has the father and son at the center of the book. He uses the darkness of the world to highlight the light of the relationship, which is why I think that one works a lot better. There's nothing comparable here. The main character starts off crazy and then it just gets worse and worse as it rolls along. I read this book feeling like I was watching Silence of the Lambs if the only character was Buffalo Bill and the whole movie was just the camera following Buffalo Bill around and you're watching him do these terrible, terrible things. I think Cormac McCarthy was trying to strangle the reader with the darkest possible thoughts that he could imagine. So as hesitant as I am to critique Cormac McCarthy, who I think is a very talented writer, there's nothing here that I found at all worthwhile. Even the philosophical points that he was making, they just rang flat for me. For instance, towards the end of the book, the awful main character makes eye contact with a boy at the back of a church bus. And he says that the boy reminds him of himself, which I thought was really heavy-handed. He's getting across the idea that we're all capable of terrible things. And how does this fit in with the idea that we're all children of God? But this book is so shallow, it didn't really make me question that very much. It didn't challenge any of my notions about humanity. It was just an empty exercise in awfulness. So everyone's terrible, the world is terrible, this book was terrible. I give it 1 star. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below.